We're live.
All right, welcome to Two Live June, a Black Dude. We finally have all participants here today. I want to welcome Ali Drew, welcome Brett Stein. It's great to see you guys again. We should do this every week.
We should do this.
But yeah, we
If I can
should.
keep my laptop out my car, but I'm cool.
It's not
Seems
good to
like
leave
every.
your laptop in your car to begin with. It's not safe.
I know, definitely not in North Carolina. That's
I
terrible
work
down there.
I work in IT. Computers mean nothing to me. So, leave them every.
Uh, that's funny. But yeah, so it's great to see you guys again. So we'll just I guess we'll jump right into it. So there's a lot of teams doing well. There's a lot of teams not doing well. So I mean, of course you got the normal teams doing well, like the Chiefs are doing well, even though they got knocked off today. The Broncos are finally back. They're like, I guess their caliber or whatever you want to call it. And you got the Giants who are playing their regular season like it's the playoffs, and the playoffs like it's the regular season. So I guess we'll just we'll jump right into that category. So we're going to talk about who's up there, top 5 up there. So we'll start with Brett, because Brett's on the screen right now. So
I think I know for a couple of seasons now, Ali's been giving a hard time to Greg Smith and the Cincinnati Bengals for not really performing like their standards for previous games. And I'll give him credit for being 3-0, including 1-0 in the division. And his defense is always pretty tough, but his offense has definitely stepped it up. So I'll put him in there. I'll give Nick Salzano and his 3-0 Patriots a shout out, and then the 2 undefeated teams in the NFC. Rustin can't lose even when he's getting simmed. His team won 21-6 over the Seahawks, and Ali moved to 4-0 earlier today with a win over his bitter rival, the Eagles, in a close game. I believe it was 38-34 was the final score, and those 4 teams I think are coming out, and got to give them credit. And the 5th undefeated team, Doug is 3-0 again. I think after last year missing the playoffs so closely, he's got revenge on his mind. So I'd say those 5 teams are all undefeated and probably playing the best right now, in my opinion.
no, I definitely agree. But we'll go to Ali, and then I'll give my top 5. So go ahead.
Well, I don't want to put myself number 1, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm putting myself number 1 because Ryan Nassib is on a mission this year. Enough of that dink and dunk running. We're going full blast. Greatest show on turf offense this year. Number 1, the Giants. And then you add my defense, so we're going number 1. Number 2 would have been the Chiefs, but they did lose today to their rival today. So I'm gonna have to put Nick at number 2. I'm gonna have to. His quarterback is playing, out of his mind right now. He has 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he's completing 75, 80% of his passes, 80% of his passes. It's ridiculous right now. So I know there's some questionable teams he played, but he did win one big division against Tim, and beating Houston, who I think is kind of on his up and coming a little bit. Still a little inconsistent, but I think he's up and coming. So I'm gonna have to go with New England number 2. Then I'm gonna have to put Chiefs number 3, right there behind New England. They're still the toughest team. I think this was their first loss was the game they actually let somebody score on them or something ridiculous like that. They're just really ridiculous, and they're the Super Bowl champs, so they should be in the top 5. Then I'm gonna have to go Doug number 4. He's back. I know I put a lot of pressure on Doug because he is the best player in OFG. I said it right now. He's the most consistent player in OFG. Super Bowls, wins. So Doug's right there, number 4. And then, you can't leave Rustin out of there. Can't leave Rustin out of there at 3-0. He's still doing his thing. His CPU sim last night still won pretty big. So, so that team is put together really nicely. I know losing Robert Quinn probably going to hurt him a little bit, I think, deep in the playoffs when he needs that edge rusher. I think he's right there at number 5 right now. But, yeah, you got 3 AFC teams in the top 5. So
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. It's a little. I mean, they won 2 of the 3 Super Bowls, so
Yeah.
you got to give them a little bit of respect, just a
I
little
mean,
bit.
they are the better conference. That means 2 to 3, right? That's a
I'm not
rock
gonna
paper
go. I'm
scissors
not
best
gonna
of
go
three,
that
right?
far. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, that's my top 5. I think those guys are gonna all be in the playoffs at the end. I think Nick is for real. I do. I played Nick a couple times, and he's always been kind of really
Yeah,
tough. It's always needed something on my end to beat him. So I think now
yeah.
that he has the team he wants and has played with him for a little bit, I think he's going to be pretty tough out there. He's a surprise coming out of there. So,
No,
but
I definitely agree. I mean, I'm gonna go with for my top five. I'd probably go. I'm gonna go with Nick at 1 because he plays in the AFC East, and right now it seems like it's him and Charles Reed. But Charles Reed's
I'm raising my hand on that one. Nick at number one. Number
I'm
one.
just saying, I'm
All
just
right, all
saying,
right,
man.
finish
All
up.
right, so you figure he's in the AFC East, and the only other team that's really like up to the caliber right now is Charles Reed, and I feel like his offense is clicking very well. He's 2-1 right now, but you figure I'm feeling that he's gonna take the wild card. He'll take one of the wild cards in the playoffs. So I'll give Nick 1 because I feel like he's got the easiest route to the number one spot, and then I'm gonna go with the Giants, of course, because their offense is playing outrageous. Like I've never seen Ali play offense this well. He's usually a defender. He usually comes out with 2 tights, and he's been spreading the ball around. You have Odell Beckham just dominating folks out and outs. So I'm gonna go with them at 2. I'm gonna go with the Broncos at 3, just because of how Ali said Doug's one of the best teams. He probably wanted to win that Super Bowl if that game didn't drop, but well, that's a different category, different story. So I'm gonna go Doug at 3 just because he's got AP. I mean, AP's gonna rush well, and he's got a quarterback that's playing decent. I'm still iffy about that quarterback in the long run, but I'm gonna go with Doug at 3. I'm gonna go with the Bengals at 4. I feel like the Bengals are 3-0. I don't know what they're gonna do in the rest of the division. They played the Ravens, who he shut them down, which is surprising because the Browns play the Ravens the next week and scored like 31 points or something like that. So I'm surprised about how well his defense is playing. His offense is playing better. And then I'm going to go with a surprise at 5. And that's not a surprise. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I thought I had a surprise. I would have said the Browns, but I'm not that
AFC
type of
bias.
guy. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I mean, they've dominated this first couple weeks. Their opponents haven't been very good, but they still dominate. It's hard to dominate Madden every week, and he's pretty much did it. Shout out to the Raiders though for knocking them off. Nobody wants an undefeated team. So we got 5 more teams to go to knock those 5 off. Nobody wants an undefeated team.
Well,
So yeah, that's my 5.
Giants and Broncos next week, so one of us will.
Okay, there we go. So now we're down to 4, and then hopefully the Giants win because I'm pretty sure the 49ers are going to beat you in like 2 weeks.
What?
Why are you laughing? Like I don't see the 4 different zone defenses you've been using in your games. You don't play man anymore, all zone. I know it. I know what's coming.
Everybody just attacks the middle. They just throw to the middle every time. They throw to the middle every man. No matter. So.
I'm throwing right at DRC every play, all right?
Okay, that's fine.
He leads the league in interceptions. That's a terrible idea.
You won't like the end results of that idea, but I'm certainly not going to tell you not to.
If his in-game awareness was real life, where 29 with 36 play recognition, I'd be able to do it, all right?
I know, right?
First of all,
Madden.
he is really good. He just can't tackle.
He's inconsistent, all right? And he gets hurt all the time.
That's all. And
He's a Madden player. That whole family's a Madden player.
Oh, man. What else you got, David?
All right, so we're gonna do. I guess since we started with top 5, like good teams, we're gonna go to top 3 bad teams. They don't have to be a bad team. The record doesn't have to be bad. It could be off-season moves. It could be just their GM is terrible. It could be anything like that. So yeah, we'll start with Brett because I'm sure Brett's got some like awesome convo about who's the worst team in the world. So we'll start with Brett. Who's your top 3 bad teams?
That's a tough question. There's been some teams that have been playing better than others. I'll say that the teams that I feel like are at least trying but not performing, I really thought that the Jets and the Redskins had pretty good off seasons in the draft and free agency, but it's not showing their record. And for Ramon in particular, he's in the NFC East, which is a really difficult, tough division, no matter any way you slice it. Every team in that division has won double-digit games every year in this Madden. So he's in a tough spot. So I'm probably going to call out, unfortunately, I like him, but TJ's Texans for years have been occupying the bottom. He made some good decisions. He added some good players. He still plays the same way. I was telling us last night, you got to air it out more. You got to try something different because what you're doing is not working. He's like, I don't want to get too aggressive on offense. I'm like, you blitz every play on defense. Why not just be aggressive on offense and more conservative on defense, see if that helps? Because you're doing the same thing. It's not working. So I like TJ, but I got to give him a little bit of crap for that. John Reed, every time I talk to him, this is the year, this is the game, this is the season. Always the same. He never follows through. Can't be the CPU. Game drops. So I'm throwing him under the bus like I always do. And the last team, also I talked to him a lot, but Sean Quarterman is 1-3. The Eagles are 1-3. I can't ignore that, and I think he's got to do something to turn it around because that defense, something's funky back there, some funky cheese back there on the defense, and you got to get that Gouda and throw it out the window. All right, so that's who I'll say.
All right, go ahead, Ali. Who you got? Who you got top or bottom three supposedly?
Bottom three. I mean, I agree with the Sean call out. Now our game, if he plays anybody like he played today, he won't lose another game.
No, not at all.
Because the offense just is automatic. So I'm trying to figure out what Dallas owns over him, because I think Dallas has beaten him like 4 times in a row, something crazy like that. But yeah, his defense is probably at an all-time low right now. He's not going to be able to win many games if his defense plays like it played today. He's going to have to get back to, a little bit more lockdown, and he does a good job of mixing it up. I just think, but he gets caught with some bad plays, which happened today. Ramon, man, I thought this was the year too. I thought he was back. I thought this was the year. Made some good moves. Got a little bit of help on the offensive line. Man, he's not having a good one right now. He's averaging 7 points a game and giving up 31 points a game. That's just bad. I don't even know if you can really say anything else. I don't even know if there's anything else to really say on that one. So that's pretty bad. And Tim is, these have been going on 2 straight seasons now, where he struggled a little bit. And the Jets have always been there, and he's scoring 12 points a game, giving up 31 points a game the same, which is surprising because he usually always has a little bit better defense over there in the AFC East. So, those are my surprise. I think out of those, Tim is probably the biggest surprise for me, being 0-3 and losing badly to the Patriots, who are playing well, but he's got something going on over there on the defense. He's got a bye week to figure it out, maybe a little bit of work, but his schedule doesn't look any easier. He's got the Raiders coming up. He just won big. He's got the Patriots, not too long after losing to them. So he's got some tough games coming up that if he doesn't win them, it's going to be tough for him to get out of that little hole he's in right now. So that's my 3.
No, Def, I agree with all 3 or both of you guys' picks. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do a quick 1, or I'm gonna do a quick 1 and I'm gonna do 2-3 after that. My quick 1 is just the Redskins, Jets, and the Texans. I feel like they all made good moves in the offseason. The Jets had Peyton Manning. When was the last time Peyton Manning had an 0-3 football team? I don't think he's ever had it. The Redskins, they were so pumped for the season to start, and they're 0-3. This 21 points in 3 weeks. Hell, even Brown scored 21 points in 3 weeks. Like, where is he coming? Where is that at? Jesus. 21 points with RG3 and that offense. He's so my thing is, he won't trade Deshaun Jackson, but why? You're not scoring points. Get some defense. Get some something you need. for a guy that's still got skill that you don't really need. You can find a wide receiver. That's what I'm calling him out right now. Trade Deshaun Jackson to somebody to get some pieces back. One player doesn't make a team. Get 3 or 4 that can make a team, or 3 or 2 or 1. One player can make your team. He's not that guy. The Jets, Peyton Manning. Come on, Peyton. Come on. Tim, you have Peyton Manning as your quarterback. He's not bad. He's pretty good. Play a Peyton Manning type team. The Texans, they got that number 1 quarterback a couple years ago. I saw it last year. I don't see it right now. Why? Why don't I see it? I agree with Brett. Pass the ball. Pass it. The Packers got furious last year that we didn't recommend them who's going to make the playoffs next season. You're 1-3, bro. That's why we didn't do it. The Eagles, 1-3. Eagles, Philly, really? 1-3. They would kill you. You would die as an owner of Philadelphia Eagles. You would get murdered if you came out with that shit after that offseason. My last and final one, he's sitting right there. Right there. Mr. Brett, what is going on with your 49ers? That was your year. You're 1-2, man. 1-2. 1-2. Your wide receivers are great. You have no running back. We already accomplished that when we talked earlier. Pass the ball. You tell TJ to spread the ball, you spread the ball.
I am passing the ball. I started passing it.
Get a different running back. Your running back is terrible.
Out Brett, or because the rest of that division is actually stinking it up a little bit, other than Weston. Yeah, I called y'all out. John, Dylon.
I agree. Dylon is 1-2 too, and you can't win that division at 1-2. You can't even make the playoffs as 1-2 right now. You guys got to get it all together. Your whole division's got to get together.
Rustin, I, Ali, John, and then Rustin again. So this is my 5-week stretch to make my mark.
Good.
Actually,
you better win.
Tag too, so you got a 6-week stretch.
You got to win all those games, man.
But you do get the Redskins, so.
I do get the Redskins. I get a couple other teams that I definitely can beat. I can beat John and Dylon. You know, that's 4 wins right there. You know, I get the Buccaneers. You get a few.
5. So what? You be 8-8 for the second season in a row?
I didn't finish 8. I was 7-9 last year.
That's even worse. You should have took the 8-8.
I also have the Jaguars on my schedule.
Yeah, I mean, you got a great schedule, man. If you can win the games that you aren't really expected to win, if you can go 4-0 the next 4 weeks, you're right back in it, man. Nobody's calling you out saying you're terrible. We're just saying you got to win some games.
That's asking a lot, 4-0, but I think I could be at least 2-2. 3-1 would be nice, though.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
I'm realistic.
So, that was fun. That was our top 5, bottom 3. Some of us went over. So now we're gonna go to.
You had 5 of you.
So I had a lot of stuff to get off my chest. Like,
I see.
Call all these dudes out. So we're gonna go to I guess like the early favorites for the MVP. So I guess I'll go first because give them some time to figure out who they want to talk about. My number 1 MVP. I guess we'll go top 3. It's easier. So mine is the New England Patriots quarterback. He's wearing Tom Brady's number. He's playing like Tom Brady, and I feel like he's probably number 1 in my list. I want to say Naismith is number 2, but I'm not. I'm going to go to the other side of the ball, I guess, technically. Or not really technically. I'm going to go with Odell Beckham Jr. I feel like Naismith wouldn't be as good if he didn't have this number 13 Odell Beckham Jr. on his team with 29 catches for 348 yards, 12 average, 87 a game with 4 touchdowns. He's killing everybody else. He's up, 120 yards of the next person? They might not have played yet, but look at that next person's Brett guy. Look at that. Look at that, Bonner. Look at that, Bonner. And then I'm going to go number 3. I'm wearing a shirt because, he's Superman. I'm wearing a shirt. I'm going to go with Isaiah Crowell. I don't care if he has 75 rushes. I don't care. He can rush the ball 500 times, not 400 times. He's got 402 yards, 5.4 average. If Johnny didn't take all his touchdowns, he'd have more touchdowns. He only got 2. But I'm going to go with him. 134 average a game. Isaiah Crowell, MVP, 2017. Woo! Those are my three. Go ahead. Anybody else?
We kind of figured that would be your three. I guess I'll go next. So since we're stumping for our own guys, of course Ryan Nassib right now. I mean, do I have to throw out numbers? I will. 77% passing, 11 yards a pass a completion, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 139.5 rating. He's only missed. I mean, you can count 24 passes in 4 games. It's ridiculous, man. Just I don't, he's gonna run away with it. So it should be, it should be fairly easy for everybody else. But I guess I have to pick some other guys, so I'll do that too. So, but yeah, with Jesse Ives with the Patriots, his numbers are pretty ridiculous too. And like I said, I think he's played some pretty tough teams already. So to have 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, I think he has over 800 yards, something like that, and the team is playing really well. So
An 81% completion rating and only missed 11 passes compared to your 24.
so anyway, I guess you'd have to throw him in there. You have to put him in there. And I will say this: I'm gonna put Isaiah Crowell in there.
Woo!
The Browns make the playoffs, which I don't think they will. I think Greg's going to.
Whoa! Whoa!
I just said it.
Whoa!
If they make the playoffs, you have to say he would be MVP. But you will also get Worst GM of the Year award for giving Johnny Manziel $114 million. You're going to run it every play. It don't make sense. 114 and you running it every play. You gave him 114 million. I can't wait to see what your cap's gonna look like next year. I can't wait to see what your cap's gonna look like next year. 114 million, and you're gonna run it every play. You will get Worst GM of the Year award, or at least a vote from me. But if you make the playoffs, Corral, if he continues to run like this, I have to put him in the top 3 right there. So.
All right, is it my turn? All right.
It is your turn, yes.
Good, because I don't have a dog in this race. Obviously, my team's way too balanced for you two guys. Anyway, I think it's worth pointing out. I can't put Beckham in there because I think if Nassib's in there, then he kind of cancels out Beckham a little bit. But Nassib's in the conversation. I'm not going to put Ives in there because I think the biggest difference for Nick is DeMarco Murray. He's only got 53 carries, but he's second in the league in yardage, and he's first in yards per carry at an astounding 6.9, a full yard and a half more than Crowell. So he's doing more with less, and I think the running game has really opened up Nick's passing, because Nick doesn't have great wide receivers. No Gronkowski. How is Ives passing so well? Team's got to worry about DeMarco Murray. They're leaving guys in single coverage. He's taking advantage. So I would put it at Nassib, DeMarco Murray second, and I'd probably put Crowell third because even though people know he's getting the ball, people aren't afraid of Johnny Noodle Arm, Johnny Rehab back there running around with his rollouts. He's got Josh Gordon, Sammy Watkins, still not throwing the ball. Crowell's getting 75 carries. Everyone knows he's getting the ball. 4 tight end sets, inventing new formations, no wide receivers, and still running the ball down people's throats. So I'll give him credit for that. All right, now I want to correct something. When I mentioned in the earlier segment about the GMs or the players that need to improve, I should mention I've spoken to Tim at length about his Jets. Most of his team has no confidence at all. I've seen some of the games. I've seen the footage. And at some point this season, I'm going to get his gamer tag, play a game as his Jets, and see just how bad that confidence really is. All right, that's what I'm going to do.
No, I feel like if his confidence is down, like he could honestly put, you get 35 points a week. You could put in 5 weeks, you could have your team right back to normal. Because you got to win a game. You got to win 2 games. You got to put some games in there that you can win. If he goes 0-6, that's a lost season. Because your confidence is gonna be so low. It's gonna be so hard to get your confidence up. You'll have to make a big trade to get somebody that has confidence. I'm sure Peyton doesn't have much confidence right now. He came coming off retirement. Starting 0-3. Those preseason games. That's why I'm really big on playing the preseason games. Because if you win those preseason games, you get confidence. And if you don't, and you lose on the sim, you lose all your confidence. So I feel like if we would play our preseason games, even if you want to keep all your starters in, that's cool. But like, I hate simming a preseason game because of that. If you start the season 0-3, you have zero confidence all around the board. So like, it's rough.
We'll stop
Give
making
it
a
to 'em.
12-hour advance schedule for preseason. Then give me more time, all right?
You need to talk to the league. You need to talk to the league about that because I have no problem doing it in like a week.
Yeah, I agree. I think the confidence thing, if you actually don't do your game prep till after the game, you can at least kind of add confidence to certain guys who need some
Yeah.
confidence, particularly the quarterback. I would always start with your quarterback, so he can make certain throws.
Even if you leave like 10 points left to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Can you still use confidence after the game?
yeah.
Yeah, you could still use game
'Cause
prep after
I
the
thought
game.
game prep got zeroed out after the game was played.
No, if you have it set to auto game prep, it will.
Yeah.
Because I feel like how is game prep going to help you after you've played the game? It doesn't make any sense.
Because certain guys will lose confidence. You can add their confidence back, so you kind of zero it back out. So you may have a guy who, if you lose a game and he says, "Well, I didn't get any interceptions," he drops 2 points. You can go back in and actually give him 6 points confidence from that game from that same week. So,
All right.
all right.
It's about to get loud in my house. So,
Well,
So we got like one more topic. Let's talk about this. We had a non-civil kind of conversation last night between two GMs. So I just want to throw this out there. Keep it civil. I mean, nothing. This is a game of Madden. Come on, if you lose your game of Madden, if something happens, somebody calls you out when you don't want them to call you out, just take it. Take it. If you want to do it in private. Don't bring it to public. Keep it civil. Like I even put the definition of civil on the thread and it still didn't work. So keep it civil.
I think you made it worse doing that, by the way. Well,
I had a thing of popcorn. That was nothing.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. This is a public service announcement from your commish. Stop with the fighting. So it's pretty simple. We all grown men. We all have things going on in our lives. We play this game to get away from that bullshit. So don't bring the bullshit to the league, arguing and putting stuff on the post. I'm talking to you, Hacksaw. I'm talking to you, Wayne. Bringing family members into this never should happen. Should never mention somebody's family member because we add you as friends on our Facebook and you're going through our stuff getting information to say stuff to us. That's childish and stupid. Leave that stuff at home. It's just a game, guys. It's just a game. We all want to win. We're all competitive as hell. Find different ways to, I've broken the TV over the game before, so
Broken controllers.
Controllers, I've already been through 3 this year because of Sean and them damn Eagles. So, just find different ways on behind the scene to handle your anger, and then come back. And then after a couple minutes, you realize, oh damn, it's just a game. Go back to your life, your girlfriend or your wife or both, they're yelling at you. Just so let's keep it civil, like David said. And I do want to address the rules also, since I have this platform. The rules we put up, they didn't change. They're really actually what we already had in place. It's just that it's more defined. So you have, owner B and owner A, they think sim is 2 different things. One guy thinks sim is, as long as I don't go for it on 4th down, that's sim. Another player thinks, hey, as long as I'm changing up plays every play, that's sim. So we have to make sure it's defined what sim is. So what we want sim to be here. So from now on we're gonna define it. This is what sim is. We're not trying to tell you how to play your call plays or what plays to call. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to make sure everybody knows exactly what we mean. So now when a guy does do too much, you can kind of say, well, let's look at what they mean by sim. And now you have a ruler to measure it against. If you already sim player in your mind and you feel like you're doing nothing wrong, these rules don't affect you. You're perfectly fine. But if you're a guy that's been called out before and you're trying to figure out, well, how should I play it? Now you have something to look at to say, all right, let me mix it up a little bit. Let me go with this a little bit more. So the rules aren't hard and steadfast. There's a gray and there's a little bend to it. If you're playing a guy and you run 4 dives or 3 dives on a drive, you know, and you're like, that's because of things he's doing, there's a little bend there, you know. But if you're doing that every drive and all game, and you know you're just doing it because it's working, and somebody complains, then yeah, you broke the rules. So you got to know how to play it when you play. But we just like I said, every night or every week, somebody is saying something about somebody's gameplay. Since we put these rules in here, I haven't heard a thing. So I don't know, you know, so far at least through the 3 weeks, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if you guys have or haven't said anything. But when it comes to play call, I haven't heard a thing. So I think it's working, you know. So don't get nervous when you see me put that stuff up. It's already what we had. If we're gonna change rules completely, you guys will know about it. But these rules was just so things were more defined, so everybody understands what we want. And that's it. Back to your regular schedule program.
Definitely have a great weekend, fellas. We'll see you guys hopefully next weekend.
All right, and one more thing I do want to say. We will be addressing the Wayne and Hacksaw issue, and there will be punishment handed out shortly. We'll get together and come up with a punishment, but that stuff will not be tolerated any longer, so there will be punishments in place. So
There will be blood.
yes, there will be blood.
Definitely have a good weekend, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.